Well, personality and risk-taking is something that interests us a lot here. I think what you'll find is that personality is permeated with risk. Risk is a major, major theme in personality, and if you think of all the movies you've ever seen, you try and think of one where risk wasn't a feature, whether it was emotional risk or physical risk or financial risk. It's there. It's absolutely there. And we weren't expecting this, but because of some work we were doing with a client, we took the 5-factor model apart to see what themes we could find in all the personality measures that were related to risk. And we got this pool of themes. I think there were, in the mid-20s, themes that were risk-related in some way. That was to say, they were concerned with people's risk-taking, but also their reaction to risk and their response to risk, as well as their propensity for taking risk. And that's a very large slice of personality. And from that, we developed a tool which is called the Risk Type Compass. And I wish I won't go into any great detail, but basically it's based on 2 dimensions, and one of those dimensions is very familiar to anybody in 5-factor knowledge, and that would be the emotional adjustment scale, or the neuroticism scale if you're looking at it from the other end. And that's important because neurotic people are fearful, they're anxious, so it's very obvious application or aspect of interpretation of neuroticism is about fear and the development of phobias of all kinds. So that's at one end of that scale, and at the other end of that same scale, people are not, well, maybe they are oblivious to fear. There are some people who really just don't register anything. They don't react. You know, if I make a noise on this table, if I crash something down this table, then we would all respond differently. Some people would jump up and actually make a noise, and other people would just raise their eyebrows and look and say, what's he doing, you know? So, you know, fear is a very fundamental part of personality, and the absence of it is of great, great interest. So the army have been interested in recruiting people at that end over several world wars and so on. So that's one aspect of it. And the familiar one, except the difference with our scale is, of course, all the themes are risk-related in some way, because they've left everything else behind. The other scale is one that is built between people who at one end are very prudent and organized and systematic and they're almost obsessional. They like things to be in the right box with the right label. They don't like ambiguity and uncertainty. And at the opposite end of that scale, we have people who are impulsive, spontaneous, excitement-seeking. They don't want to know what's happening tomorrow. They love uncertainty. If you tell them what's going to happen tomorrow, it kind of ruins their day. So those are 2 dimensions, and everybody falls somewhere on them. So that creates a natural, since you're somewhere on both of those 2 scales, and if you view them as orthogonal, conceptually, crossing over with each other, then you can be high on 2, or you can be high on 1 and low on another. And that creates, altogether, 8 possibilities. So you can be the fearful one, you can be, for the first 4 that I mentioned already, and then you can be the combinations. And the combinations are the really interesting ones.